Go ahead. No
And
problem. Yeah.
and welcome everyone for our
Yes.
E4L Curious Conversation Lab Founders Cohort. This month, we are celebrating the National Hispanic Heritage Month. And the idea today is to engage in a conversation to continue understanding the diverse experiences that all of us as Hispanic, Latinos experience in the United States. Today, I want to start this conversation appreciating all of you for being here, for your time and your willingness to engage in this conversation, and be open to understand a little bit more about each other. This week, I went to 2 events, mainly with Americans, and it was like, wow, a super different experience for me. So as I keep learning how to navigate the 2 cultures, I really appreciate the effort that each one of us do to try to understand better the other person and the other culture. So thank you, and be open to understand today as much as you can. And our special guest is Darguin Fortuna. And thank you, Darguin, for being here. How I learned about him in this new role that I'm doing as a business owner. I went to an event where the main topic was about the power of capital, and I immediately connect with his experience. He's a passionate architect, and my dad was an architect, so I really fell in love with his story. And he's a creator of Flow Design, and he is from the Dominican Republic and will tell us more about his experience today. The agenda today, this was a brief intro, and Darguin will give more about himself, will explain more about himself. I'm going to give you guidelines, then he's going to share with us a little bit about his experience being a Hispanic Latino in the United States, and we're going to engage in some questions. Remember, for my students, that this is for everyone. This is a safe space. Activate your mindset, activate your curiosity, engage in real life conversations. Remember, we're practicing the strategy of the video that we watch, and this is an opportunity to experience the E4L community vibes. Remember, when you're listening, just listen and focus on the main ideas. Take note of any idea or words that you don't understand, and be ready to ask questions when it's the time to ask questions. Without further ado, I want to introduce to Darguin Fortuna, and you can tell us more about you. And after, I will stop here the sharing, so it will be better to engage in the conversation and listening to you. This is what I saw when I went to this meeting, and I learned more about his experience as a business owner. Today, he's going to tell us what it means to be a Hispanic Latino in the United States.
All right. Thank you so much, Leonela. Can you guys all hear me okay? Yes? Can you hear me or no? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So thank you, Leonela, for that great introduction, and thank you for everything that you do. It was a pleasure to meet you at that event, and To for the interest of time, I guess I'm gonna start from the beginning. My name is Darwin Fortuna. I am a principal and one of the founding principals of Flow Design Architects, which is an architectural office based out of Salem, Massachusetts. We focus on there are two parts of our work. One of them is increasing diversity in the field of architecture and design, which is what we really are passionate about. Making that more accessible and equitable to a more broader community. And essentially making sure that the people that design and build our communities represent our communities instead of something that comes from the top down from other groups. So, but that's our mission. But we actually make buildings. We design buildings. That's what we do on a day-to-day basis. So we focus on about 70% of our work is single and two-family residential, and the other 30% is high-end commercial mixed-use buildings. Recently, we just got hired by Harvard University to do some work for them too, which is something that we're very proud of and happy to share. And that's kind of what we do. So going back, I am originally from the Dominican Republic, La Vega, which is a city within the north. It's a province within the north of the Dominican Republic, about 30 minutes from Santiago. So most people know about Santiago. So and I was raised there in Hima Bajo. It's a small little town within the state, where I I lived with my grandmother and my grandfather while my mom was working in the capital, and the struggles of a single mom, the story of having to provide and not being able to be there present. But at the end of the day, I did get everything I thought I needed when it comes to a healthy, growing environment with my grandmother and my grandfather, and then also aunts and uncles within the city. So it was great. So from there, I moved to Santo Domingo to study architecture after I graduated high school, because the deal was after I became an adult, after I graduated high school, I had to go back to Santo Domingo and be with my mom and venture into the world of architecture, which is something I had never heard of or never met an architect before at that time. But it was an interesting struggle. It was difficult, completely different from what I was used to, but I liked it. It was a good challenge. And in 2010, I got the opportunity with my mom and my brother to migrate to the United States, to Boston. So May of 2010, we got here. My brother, my mom, and I. I have a sister that came later after. And got here with all the dreams that all of you and everybody has, and all the uncertainties and the feelings of missing something big, because it's nothing like what we have ever had, right? It's a completely different world. The buildings are different. So that's one of the first things that shocked me, that all of the buildings looked a lot more traditional, more now I appreciate them, but before I thought they were ugly because it looked very different. So quickly after that, I then what everybody does is get into work, right? Get a job. You have to support family members either here, but also back home. Went to Wendy's restaurant. That was the first job I ever got when I came to the States. And but I had a clear mindset of what I wanted to do. I wanted to continue my career, which I had started there all the way back in 2008. So I wanted to continue that. And I started to put all the pieces in place. So first, I needed to learn English because I came here with zero English, zero. I didn't know anything. So to do that, I had to make some conscious decisions and hard decisions. Some of them were to associate myself with people that only spoke English. That was a big one I had to do. So I started to just become friends with people at work that only spoke English, and enrolled at the North Shore Community College in Lynn, where to take English classes, English as a second language. It was a sacrifice I had to make because I wasn't going to be able to assimilate. I wasn't going to be able to be part of the community and society really as a whole, and everything that society has to offer within the United States if I wasn't able to communicate. I mean, that's the first thing that we need. We applaud children when they say papa, mama, when they're little. Why? Because communicating is essential. right? It's not whether they say mom or dad, it's the fact that they communicate it. And it's no longer screaming or crying or yelling. It's about connecting. So I met some really interesting people along the way, which I call angels, that God sends. You don't even deserve them. You don't even, it's just God that sends them to you. So those angels became part of my growth. And I listened to all of the advice that I could get. So graduated from the North Shore Community College in 2012, enrolled into regular classes at the Boston Architectural College right after, and went to architecture. I had already done 4 or 6 semesters of architecture in the Dominican Republic, so I could handle the first semesters of architecture here, but I couldn't communicate. So I had to continue to strengthen that, right? And I still have really great mentors and friends from the North Shore Community College. One of the teachers, Caroline Charles Walder, became my mentor when it comes to how to effectively communicate, how to write, how to express yourself. And then other people that I met bars, really, clubs. But because I will only go not to Latino clubs, I would just go to clubs and lounges where people could talk. And I picked up that Americans do love talking. They do. So that was great. And to make the long story short, after I graduated college, decided I wanted to get licensed as an architect, and did it. Went, took the exams. I had met my significant other as I was a student early in 2013, who I'm actually divorced now, but she's a Native American, as American as he can get. So we got married, have 3 beautiful children, and it wasn't hard to speak English after that. You wake up to blue eyes every day, you will speak English. So that was great, and she helped me assimilate a lot of the culture, all of the what it is to be an American, all the Disney movies, all of the general things that you don't do even in the wherever you're from, it's different, right? So that was great. And I felt a big void existed within the architectural environment, after working at 6 or 7 different firms. And me and a business partner also related to the same idea that there wasn't a lot of diversity, and that we felt like we were somebody else's tool. So we didn't want to be anybody else's tool. We wanted to create a place where everybody had a place and a voice, and that they could express themselves no matter where they were from, and that all of their ideas were valid, right? So we built Flow Design, and that's Flow Design, an ecosystem where we welcome diversity. We truly do. And it's easier said than done. Diversity is friction. Diversity is differences. Diversity is arguments. It's not the easy route. So that's it. That brings me to where I am right now, and that's kind of why I'm here. Anything that deals with diversity, equity, inclusion, helping others that are crafting their own, and I use the word crafting because that's kind of how we do it. We build it with our hands, crafting your own careers, your own destinies, and coming to the United States and taking that challenge of being other, right? Because we're a lot of other. We're not necessarily, and it happens over time where we all become a community together and become an ecosystem together, and we understand that we need each other. It's not my way or the highway. It's all of us really have something meaningful to bring into the table, which makes us a lot better, and therefore it is an investment that we should make, into the future. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't know what else I can tell you. My day-to-day as an architect is pretty interesting. Every day we have a new challenge and a new opportunity. I didn't know that once I graduated and became an architect, I was going to be typing so many emails and doing so many Zoom meetings. That's how I spend most of my time, really, between meetings and meetings and meetings, and typing a lot of emails and correspondence. But overall, it's rewarding, and I get to see everybody at my office generally it comes from another place. We have Chinese, we have Dominicans, we have Salvadorians, Colombians, we have a Mexican, we have one from Kenya too. So we have a pretty robust mix, which is fun. But again, as I said, it's challenging. It's challenging to understand that something I say may mean something else to somebody else, right? So, and being able to say, being able to know that that may be different and be sensitive to that and say, I don't know if what I said was what you understood, or maybe if you're on the other side of the conversation saying, is this what you mean? What do you mean about that, right? Because it's difficult to understand. So tying it all together to Latinos, and being, or month, this Hispanic Heritage Month, what it means to be a Latino, it's different probably for everybody, but overall we're very vibrant individuals, hardworking individuals, very honest people. Not so much as smart as I would like us to be. We're more like on the hard work versus the smart work. We're not so intellectual in the way we do certain things, because we're fast to act and slow to we're fast to act and slow. We should be slow to think. We should think more. That's what I would say too. But it's changing. It's certainly changing, and I'm part of that change. That we're more robust, we're more intellectual too, we're becoming so much better, and I love that. And one fun fact I can add is that at first I was trying to hide that I was Latino for a while, and it was because that was the first question I ever got asked, and you probably all get the same question: where are you from? Right? And it was annoying at some point. Now I embrace it, and I'm like, I'm glad you asked. I'm from the Caribbean, from the Dominican Republic, a beautiful place where we have beautiful beaches and we are beautiful people. And I want to always broadcast where I'm from. But before, I was trying to hide it in the way I spoke, hide it with my accent. Took a lot of classes and like techniques to try to hide it. But I just wanted to talk more about other things, not so much about where I was from, right? I was like, oh, I'm from here, but it's okay to be from somewhere else, and it's something to be proud of, and it's something to broadcast. But now I could say it with confidence. But back then I was Mr. Nobody, so it was kind of, now I understand it. I wasn't confident enough, I think. So now I'm confident and bold to be proud of where we're from, and we're much more than baseball players, at least the Dominicans. we don't only sing hip hop and reggaeton. We're architects too. We're entrepreneurs. We're business owners. So that's it. And I open it up to you guys if you have any questions. I feel like I did a monologue here, so I'm sorry.
No, this is great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story with an open heart. I will start with one question. It's what helped you to build that confidence? How did you build that confidence from just at the beginning not being able to embrace being from the Dominican Republic, and now it's like, yeah, this is who I am? What do you do, or what helped you the most in that process?
So there are a couple of things. Great question. One of them was being humble about like who I am, where I'm from, like just knowing that I'm just a human being like everybody else, right? So sometimes we set all these high expectations and standards for ourselves, and we can't even meet them. So just being able to say, this is who I am, like having an open heart, and eh, all the colors, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. Like we have all of those. Everybody has them. If you don't have them, good for you. But I don't think so. So that helped, and that's something I have acquired more over time, because I was very cocky before, and now more and more I'm like, I know I'm not all that. I'm just a human being here trying to do better in life, like all of us, right? Like I'm not, before I was trying to overcompensate, and that's why I was trying to hide it. So now I'm not trying to overcompensate, just being honest about who you are. People really connect with that. People really, really resonate with the truth, and then the other side is being very competent with my skills. Because I was talking yesterday with somebody, our office, we did a office review of a person that's been with us for 4 years. Yesterday was the anniversary, and we want him to do a lot of contract negotiations and meet with clients. He's actually from El Salvador, and he looks very young. And I told him, listen, you want to do a lot of that, like meet clients, connect with them, write contracts. And I'll tell you what me and Marcos, my business partners, have to go through. Every day we knock into a door for a new client, we get the anxieties of our skin colors and our accents and where we're from and all of that stuff, because you're walking into somebody else's home, and that's the most sacred place you could actually go to. So what I go there is, I am an architect, I know what I'm doing, I'm qualified and overqualified, and I'm gonna take all the noise away. I'm here to do something for you and to help you. So I was telling him, like, your face looks young. You're gonna have to get through that, because people are not gonna want to trust you building their homes when you look like you're 16 years old, right? With me, is architects are perceived as these gray hair old individuals that know everything about buildings. So, and then I show up also with a young baby face, right? So I like to think that I look young, but I don't know, I'm getting older now. So all of that, building the confidence and competency, it's a balance of knowing I don't know everything, and I don't, but I will find out somebody that probably does within the industry in whatever it is that you need. But I've been doing this long enough to relate to what it is that you're trying to do, and I will be transparent about that. So, because you can't fake that though. Like, if you don't, if you don't know what an LVL is, you just don't know what an LVL is. So you can't fake that. So, and I told Jose Plates, I was like, Jose, we asked him questions like, okay, if somebody wants to finish a basement, what do you need to do? Well, they want to put a bedroom there because they need egress windows, they need light and ventilation. I was like, there you go. So if you show up to a new client, they will respect you. It will take a little bit because the biases exist, and that's something we cannot fight. I've been struggling with this because I'm a member of the small firm exchange for the state of Massachusetts as a board member representing the architects, small firms within the entire nation. And the topic of the day is equity, inclusion, diversity, right? Justice, all of that. But like, the biases will always exist. I mean, that's kind of, we teach our young children, stranger danger, right? Like, we teach all of those different things, right? And we can't take that away. We just have to manage it over time, just manage it, right? Those anxieties, why do I feel up this way about this person right now? I don't know this person. Again, you started it right. I have to listen and understand, and they probably feel the same way about me. So if they look dangerous, I may look more hostile than them. So be able to, and I use this metaphor, and I keep using it a lot. It's like a technique I use. I call it the iron technique. You don't know if the iron is hot. So in a relationship, whenever you're managing or talking to somebody else, you just touch it. Oh, okay, it feels like it's not hot. I'm not burning myself. You touch it again, it's a little, okay, you know what? I think I'm good. You touch it again, you're like, it's ready. We're good. It's ready. But it's built over time, right? You see, you had to touch it 3 times to build that confidence. You couldn't just go right in. So that's kind of how I got to where I am. It's, more and more now, I see crystal clear all my imperfections every single day. I'm so aware of all my imperfections, all of my shortcomings, but I embrace them, and I say I'm working on those things, whichever they are. And that's probably the biggest sign of confidence, to be aware of the fact that you're not perfect, you're not immortal, you're another human being. It's actually weird if you show up too perfect, even like when people look too good. Perfect makeup. It's like, well, that doesn't look right. Something isn't right about that. So being flawed is actually a problem. So, and when you walk like that, it's like, well, and you laugh about it. So that's the biggest sign of confidence. It's like, well, I laugh about my accent. open it up like that. Hey, listen, I'm trying to speak English here and I'm doing the best I can. Kudos to me for trying. A for effort, right?
Yeah.
And that helps. A long way of answering that question, but yeah, I think it touched a
No,
couple of points there.
very, very, very good. I want to ask, you say at the beginning that you were croaky. What was the word you used? When you were describing yourself, you say, I am croaky. I didn't get that.
I don't remember that.
Okay,
So it's well, so when I started
no,
an
when you were
architect,
describing
of course.
your confidence, there was a word that I couldn't pick it.
Oh, got
You were
it.
describing.
Cocky is a little bit like aloof and condescending, a little bit like snobby, I think, to some extent. It's like you think you're better than others and you kind of laugh about everything. So it's somebody that, I mean, most people don't like that kind of person.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's just not something that it's not. There is a sweet spot. If you have too much of that, then you get in trouble. Exactly, overconfident. It's like if you have too much of it, it's troublesome. It's like, well, who do you think you are? It's like the kind of people that as soon as they walk into the room, you're like, I just don't like them. It really is, and it's universal, by the way. There is a
Yeah.
look and feel and way of acting of certain people that make others immediately uncomfortable about them. And I think I was like that. After getting divorced and knowing that I was a failure in many ways, and not being a great husband and not being the greatest dad that I could be, I realized, yeah, Darwin, cut it out. Get down to the truth. Embrace the truth and work on it, because this, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just be blind and deaf to all of the things that people are telling you. There's something to be said about that. And there's a problem when people stop telling you, when people stop giving you advice because you don't listen. That's the biggest, that you're done. And that's the biggest sign of a failing marriage too, by the way. Some lessons there. If people don't talk anymore, biggest problem right there. Yeah.
Well, thank you, because this happened to us when we're listening to, stories. There are new words, that come to you. And in this case, I have heard probably that word before, but it was an opportunity to say, okay, what do you really mean? So I want to understand. I definitely
That's good that you caught it. That's good. Yeah,
resonate
you don't
with
hear
you.
it. You don't hear it often. You don't hear that word often. So, by the way, Leonela, I love language and learning. Like, I'm actually learning Italian now. So I'm just like you, very curious. As soon as I
Yeah,
hear something, I'm like, what is that? And I literally say it. And I think I would recommend people to do that, to repeat the word and be like, and then try to understand it and say it, and tell yourself, oh, that's a new one. You know what I mean? Like, I tell myself, like, literally, that's a new one. I never heard of that. Then you will hear it more. Like, then you're gonna watch a movie and you're gonna see somebody saying it, and you're like, oh, that's what it is they're talking about. And it feels so it's like eye-opening and enlightening when you kind of get the picture of the word.
that's exactly the approach that I am promoting, because it's in that immersion, in that conversation, that the word has meaning. And then I remember, oh yeah, this is when Darwin was talking about confident, and I can really understand more. And then you can actually use the word in context. Okay, any other questions? I want to, Bree or Julie Mar, do you guys have a question? Bree, do you have a question?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Nice to meet you, Darguin.
Thank you.
I'm Julimar from Venezuela, and E4L student. Leo is my English teacher. I'm learning to speak in English, and I got a new word, cocky. It's like I'm no Latina, I'm Venezuelan. It's something like that. It's not humble, it's just kidding. Yes, I'm Latina and Hispanic, but I saw a video yesterday that Leonela sent to me, and what's interesting about the Latino and the Hispanic, but that is interesting to me because I'm trying to integrate to this culture. And that's my question, Darguin. If you can give us, the person who have been living here for short time, and first learn English, and then what you can advise to us? What can we do? What can we, an idea, an advice, or something that we can do to integrate more to this culture? Additional to learn English.
No, yeah, because you have to complement each other, and that's what they say about being like immersed into the language. Like you have to do that. So what I would say in my case, I did it with the field that I love, which is architecture and design. So I went to I still do, any architecture event, I'm there. I'm like the rice, como el arroz. I'm the like it's everywhere. Everybody eats rice. So I would say find those things that interest you and that you deeply care about, either community events or non-profit events, or really don't like, it's not like just trying to be part of the society and community for the sake of being part of the society and the community. Is because there's something that resonates with you, that you care about, that you want to be a part of, and that it becomes easier. It's not like it doesn't take a, that probably is a new one. It doesn't take a toll on your life. It's not like a heavy thing that's draining your energy. It's something that gives you energy. It may be something like, yoga or Zumba classes where the instructor, they connect, or going for a run with a group of people that go for a run, or biking with a group of people that do biking, or, there's like, and that's just their hobbies. Like maybe you like piano and you go to a group that plays piano and talks about piano. Book reading sessions. I actually was thinking about that, like where the people sit down and discuss a different book. You will become part of some sort of community within that group, right? It's not just like there's macro, micro, and different groups of that. If you're a programmer, there's hackathon events where they talk about geeky stuff that's cool, and you're like, oh, that's great, I'm gonna learn about that, and it becomes so much easier to learn it and to like communicate. It may be events that you care about, like pro like against cancer events, or pro-life events, or anything that interests you. I'm telling you right now, likely any community within the state of Massachusetts that you live in has something. That's for sure. There's always something. If it isn't within that, like at least the next town over has something. Like library events, public events, which are the great things that we have in this nation. They have at the library, typically any library within any town has a book reading club that talks about something, right? But it could be salsa classes on a place that you go, for real. And who wants to learn how to dance salsa? Like most Americans want to learn that. We already probably know. I don't know yet, but we already probably know. But that's a community, and you there connect and you talk, and there are clubs and bars that do that, and it's fun, right? And it's even especially better if you're single, so that you connect with other singles. Great, you connect with and create friends. That's really it. That, and then you there are other roles that will be appointed to you that you don't even ask for. Like there are things that people are gonna say, you're really good at this, we need you for this, and then they start engaging you on those events. Hope that helps.
Thank you.
Great. Carol, you have a question? Yeah.
Yes, it seems really clear to me that architecture helped you assimilate. How did you first get interested in architecture if you didn't even know what it was when you were still in your home country?
Yeah, so let's go back in time. So we're sitting at one of my best friends' couch, and we're all talking and watching TV post-graduation from high school, during the time where you need to make the move for college and sign up and do all that stuff. And One of them had a laptop and was looking into a program, and he enrolled into a school in Santo Domingo. And I was moving to Santo Domingo. Inevitably, my mom lived there. So we started asking each other, what are you doing? So this one was going to become an industrial engineer. So I asked him why. The answer wasn't something that I liked. So then another one of the members, his name is Marcos, another Marcos, a friend of mine, says, oh, I'm going to do architecture and I'm going to go there. And I said, why? Well, I'm good at math and I'm good at geometry. And I was like, I'm good at math. I'm good at geometry. Okay. So he's like, he signs up, and I said, listen, sign me up for that. And the school there is free. It wasn't much to lose. At least that school was free. It's like $1 to sign up for classes. So it was like one of the best schools and by the way, teaching lesson, the oldest university within an entire continent, even older than Harvard. That's the one. So now Universidad Autónoma de Santo Domingo, which it was before La Universidad Santo Tomás de Aquino. So it was a Catholic university at the beginning of time when Christopher Columbus, all the way back then. So that said, I was like, yep, I'll do that too. He dropped out the first semester. At the end, he quit. He was like, this isn't for me, I'm out. I want to go back home. And I was like, I can't just quit. So I stayed. So I stayed. It wasn't easy. That's why he quit. It wasn't easy. It was very difficult. But I liked it. And there was a process of transformation from when I got to school, like it could be like an assembly line. So I walked into school with big shirt, and I like to sing hip hop and reggaeton, and I had this nice hat and earrings. Listen, the Darwin that walked in and the Darwin that walked out was completely different. I became, I was a rebel guy, and then it's like, then I learned the why and hows of things, and then one of the instructors saw me like semester after, just like, wow, Mr. Darwin Fortuna, you've changed. I was like, well, listen, I don't think nobody was gonna give me $1 million project or a $2 million project the way I was before. So I didn't look like I took myself seriously. So how would anybody else take me seriously,
Wow. Oh, that's a great story. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else? A comment, anything you connect with Darwin? Because Darwin, we have here Americans and Latinos. So you have the best of two worlds listening to your story. And
I see the two spectrums, and I like
Yeah.
it. I really
Yeah.
do like it, because I see a genuine interest in us. Authentic is the word, and symbiotic. And I see the genuine interest of wanting to be, it's both sides, right? Like wanting to be part. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that the best approach is to integrate in your community in such a way that it makes it enjoyable. So you connect, as you mentioned, to Yuli with things that you are interested in. And I think that I couldn't agree more, that the foundation of the problems we have in this country is primarily due to the lack of integration. People don't know each other. They don't spend time together. Many Americans feel that if somebody doesn't speak fluent English, that somehow they're stupid or ignorant, or listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. Or if they're a person of color, that somehow you're less than they are. So it's simply by the fact of talking, integrating, and getting to know one another that we overcome those prejudices and we overcome those things. And as a point of interest, it was World War II, where they had so many Black and Puerto Rican soldiers that fought alongside American soldiers that the whole dynamic started to change. And the white Americans realized that the Puerto Ricans and the black people were just like them. They bled the same, they fought the same, you know, and so they were able to subsequently pass the Civil Rights Act, you know, 20 years later. But that just speaks to the fact that what you're doing is actually it takes bravery, by the way. It takes a lot of courage, and my hat's off to you for that. And by the way,
Thank
your
you.
English is excellent for being here such a short time. I hope I can improve my Spanish equally. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I was gonna add something real quick to that, Michael, real quick.
Go ahead.
Knowing because that's the thing. I don't talk about the bad stories. I haven't said any of those yet. But there've been bad stories. There've been stories where you walk into a place and you know you don't belong and you're told you don't belong.
Mhm.
There've been some of those stories. And all of the members of this class, I want you to not take him personally in any way, shape, or form. It's not you. You're not the problem. You're don't take any blame on that. It's a process. It's been a process with this one I take to heart as an architect, and a Latino architect in the United States that looks very young in a very masculine world, in a very white male. Have you met any building inspector that isn't white? If you find one, I'll pay you $100 for every inspector you've ever met that isn't a white male. Now, and that doesn't look like he's 100 years old either. So that's another one. So the other thing I was gonna say is, have you ever met? Well, I guess I already stated it, but a woman inspector, building inspector? No. So there is friction in that world. It's not an easy one. But then again, have you met a lot of Latino laborers that do the work? Yep, all of them. So there's a big disconnect from the top down of who does the work and who kind of, it really looks like slavery if you just squint your eyes and look at it from far away. It's from the top down, the management, the way things work, the way things, who pockets the money, the development world. It's really bizarre, right? And I can't probably change that overnight, but I'm part of the change. So going back to everybody, within your own industries, you will find some of that too, and some more than others. In mine, it probably is one of the hardest, to be honest. But it's true. It takes courage. But here's the thing: what happens when you're the one that has all the answers to all of their problems? They will have to inevitably accept it, that you are part of the solution, not the problem. When you come with all the creative ideas and all the creative, because again, we go back and we have a lot of Americans within this class, and I love it. Latinos do not have a school shooting problem. We've never had it and probably never will. There's a lot to be learned from other cultures and other communities. And if you listen and learn and you know that you don't know it all, that you didn't get it right, that you're not perfect, then things start to change. And as a matter of fact, it isn't even Latinos that do the shooting. And I'm not trying to turn this into a racial thing. But what I'm saying is there is something to be learned. And you just have to be humble. And if we learn, then the design of schools will be different. The way that schools are done and designed and built and thought out, and the way that things are done and kids are educated, there's something to be learned about that. Sometimes we look at it as Americans teaching the world. Well, the world has so much more to teach to America, right? So it's like, so that's the process. So I kind of brought up two things, and to the members of the audience that are from Hispanic heritage, don't take it too hard. Keep on doing what you're doing. You're here to do good. So just keep on doing good. Eventually the good will talk for you. So you don't have to worry about that. And from the other side, I mean, all of you are great. So anyway, like the ones that are within this class, the fact that you're here, it's great. You're part of the solution.
Darwin, I was struck by what you said about honesty. Because the older I get, and I've gotten pretty old, the more important I find that's that is to me and my development, that I don't learn, I don't connect well if I'm not being honest. And that was really hard for me to learn because I was so defended all my life that I was rarely truly honest. But I think that's, if you have the confidence to be honest, or the courage, you get so much more out of any interaction. And I think that's an important point.
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't take me to lose my hair and get gray hair to learn that. It was too easy, Michael. I had to throw it out there. But it's true. It is true. I'm learning. I mean, I think I've lived many lives within this life. That's the other thing too. You know, going through. So the life that I lived in the Dominican Republic versus the life I lived as I was preparing as a young student here in 2010, and the life I lived as a married man, and now the life I got post-pandemic and divorce, right? And the struggles of owning a business. I think also owning a business really will aid you and will teach you so much. My kudos to all professionals that make it through college and all business owners. I relate to their pains, no matter what the industry is. We become psychologists, fathers, brothers. We become everything to the members within the office and the clients that come in. I mean, we have to have all of those hats. It's not an easy task. I can't quit my own job that I built, my own company, so I don't have a choice. But yeah.
Well, I have just one more comment, just as a point of interest. I also went to North Shore Community College at the Beverly campus before there was a Lynn campus, and I had a mentor as well, as you did. They were wonderful. And they actually got me a full scholarship to Boston University. So I was well served at that school, and I'm so nice to hear somebody else went there. And I do know they have a Lynn campus now that was out long after I was there. But good for you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Darwin, you mentioned, oh yeah, Bree, go. I think, yeah, Bree, you can go. Yeah, she's in Venezuela and her internet is challenging.
Yes. Hi, Darwin. I am Brigitte. I'm from Venezuela. My internet is in unstable. Okay, I lost.
Yeah, I think we lost her a little.
Of your speech, and I have a dog. Architecture. Did you architecture in Dominican Republic and did it in United States?
All right, so
2 degrees. Do you have 2 degrees or?
I think I understand your question. So I first started architecture in the Dominican Republic in 2008, did 5 semesters or so, and then moved here. And I didn't finish there. So I started from zero.
Okay. Okay.
After I finished English as a second language program at the North Shore Community College. And as I was going through my program at the Boston Architectural College, I connected with people from the Dominican Republic that could help me get my transcripts for what I did. And I did eventually gain about a year or at least a semester and a half of credits. And then I finished. So I started 2012, graduated 2016. I finished in May of 2016. So that's how I did it. I don't have 2 degrees. I only have a bachelor's of architecture, which is an
Architect.
accredited, yeah, accredited degree. It's like a licenciatura de architecture. Like that's what I have. Yeah.
My question is, as an architect, you must have a design that characterizes you, no? And have a mix between American trends, okay, American design, and and where you from, no? Those the Republic, the Dominican Republic. Have you mixed about design? Have you adapted the new culture in your design? It's my question for you.
Okay. So since I only studied in the Dominican for a little while, I was starting to develop a design language back then there, that related to what I was seeing everywhere in the Dominican Republic and the weather patterns and the way that we lived in the Dominican Republic. But I didn't develop it. It was just starting. So when I came here, I started to connect both of them a little bit, but I became more sensitive to the reality of the place where I live, which is here now. And everybody, and I think no matter where the country is taught in architecture to create modern and postmodern designs, contemporary architecture designs. That doesn't, that's pretty free overall. So, so I guess doesn't matter where you're from. At the end of the day, we're basically taught how to design. Not necessarily a style in particular, but how to design in general and how to make anything, right? So here, I just became more how to make what I do personally is I adapt to what belongs within the place, but also looking towards what's new. And I detach things that don't necessarily function anymore. Like chimneys don't function anymore. The roofs don't have to be like this to deal with the snow. There are other ways of dealing with the snow. So I start to create things that still belong, but solve the problems of the now and prepare things for the future, like solar panels, solar power, more electric appliances and things like that. Like try to use that. But overall, the office is very eclectic because it's not my voice; it's the voice of the team and the client. So, but personally, that's how I see it. I want to marry, um, a little bit of all the pieces and make it adequate. I am very sensitive to what's appropriate for every different town and municipality. Here, the rules of zoning and planning are very strict, and I know why, and I like it, to be honest, because I was talking to some inspectors, because I go to all the building inspectors and commissioners meetings. The only Latino there, and the only architect that goes to those is me. And I was telling them how I have struggles with a lot of my Latino clients because they want to do whatever they want, whenever they want. And they don't even want to pull permits. They don't know about permits. So I have a hard time serving my own people, to be honest, which I do. I still do it, but it's not easy. But I do it and I'm glad to do it, but it's really not easy. But why do I understand the rules and I respect them? If you were to fly a drone within the sky of any town, municipality within the United States, you will find order. You will find peace. You will find a system that works. And I tell my clients that are Latinos, if we were to just build whatever, whenever, anytime, anyway, then places will lose their feel for what that community is, what that community feels like. Then we'll lose our identity. You know, that's why zoning, again, I can teach a whole class on that, but zoning is a rule constitutionally. Every town and city and municipality gets the right to create their own zoning and planning rules for how they want their communities to be. And as in Somerville, which is, you know, it's one of the cities here, it's completely different from, let's say, Wakefield, or completely different from Newton, or completely different from Lynn or Salem or even Swanscott, and they're all together, right? So because every town gets to do that. So that's it. Zoning dictates generally what the place is gonna look and feel like. So you can't just come and bring the modern, clean concrete lines from the Dominican to here. You could bring some of those attributes, but you can't do it like that, right? Like things, they evolve over time, and the zoning bylaws evolve over time as new people vote, new selectmen pick things, the ward members approve different things. So it evolves over time. You can't just be drastically, which I love. I really do love it. It would be a disaster. It would be the slums if we didn't have those rules. It really would be chaos, and I don't think anybody would like that.
Yeah, well, I want to be mindful of the time. Beth, yeah, you can go.
I
Yes.
just have one question, and that is, do you think that one of your interests in architecture is the fact that it's a visual blueprint, so to speak, and that it didn't, clearly you need to know English, but it's more universal drawing blueprint kind of thing? Do you think that that was one of the attractions of it for you, that it kind of transcends language a little bit?
I mean, I picked architecture before I was in the States, so I
Right.
already liked it. Yeah, so
Right.
I already, there was something about it that I liked. So why did I even choose it? In general, I mean, there is something to be said about seeing the future of communities. Like right now, we're designing blocks within Winthrop, blocks within Dorchester. So there's something really, really powerful about that. So I really did like that. And then since I was little, like my mom infused one thing in me. So when she had me early on, 4 months, she had a big like bleeding, you know, and the doctor said that the baby was dead. So she looked for a lot of different ideas, like different doctors and opinions. And after like 3, one of them said, "There's something we can do." So she told me that story and said, we were ready to have an abortion, and you know, you were not gonna be here. So you were born to do something great. You're alive to do something big. So then I'm like, well, how much bigger can it get that I get to basically, I could drive by some neighborhoods and say, I did that, I was part of that building, I was part of that building, I was part of the building. And it's like, wow, that's kind of why I also want to do some towers. There's a little bit of ego on that. It's like, I have to do a little skyscraper someday, because it's like something, but I also want to do that for the rest of the office. So that those young kids that we hire them very early. Nobody would ever hire them. Their first jobs is us. So because we believe in them, and we know that, you know, how you can only make change early. You can't, you know. So that's it. I want them to do a tower so that they can say, I did that, and if I did that, I can do anything. There's just nothing that can stop me, you know. So, and then they can build their own offices and continue to have more offices and more people doing more architecture. So yeah, it does transcend everything. Architecture is art. So art doesn't have, we all like art. We all have a form of art. So yeah.
Wow. I want to be mindful of the time, and I want to thank everyone and Darwin for sharing your experience. And I know all of us have learned something about you, and probably you learned a little bit about us. I usually like to finish the conversation and inviting everybody to pick one word that summarize how you feel, what you learn, anything relating to today's conversation. And I will invite you, just say the word, and and explain why. So if you can think about, just say your word and say why, and it's just like a little choir of this beautiful conversation that we have had that we could just take away. So anybody can go. What
Yes.
is today's word? Julie,
Humble, humble.
and why do you say that?
Because it's the key to to be in any place, the humble, to integrate it, to be, it's a good word.
Great. Who else? What is your today's word?
Dream,
What is it?
dream.
Yeah.
Do you, and I feel like Darwin was, had dreams that he found ways to fulfill, which is very cool and keep happening. You keep dreaming and realizing it and realizing the dreams, which is very cool.
Great.
Amazing. I just think it's amazing that someone can start in one place and continue to just grow and build and help others along the way and overcome whatever obstacles crop up.
Expansive.
Mm.
Yeah. Just the energy, the subjects we're talking about, the people that are diverse from different worlds. It just creates an energy of not only hope, but of bigger than me.
Leo, accept.
Okay.
You accept the others, no? Because it's the best way to learn about us.
Okay. Who else? You're also invited to say your own word, Darwin. We're all together. So I know Joe, you and I are missing. So I will say
there's two words that exist in my mind that I've been using a lot lately. It's radical honesty, but it's two words.
that's
It's
okay.
radical honesty.
We are
Radical
flexible.
honesty.
There is no only one radical honesty. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, where I am in my life right now, I'm looking at the mirror a lot, and it's just looking at me and seeing all of. And life has made it so easy for me to struggle through every day, where the answer is I have to look at myself. The answer is I have to look at myself as a boss at the office, as a mentor to others, as a son to my mom, as a father to my 3 children, as a significant other. I have to go within, even with my clients as a professional, and be very, very honest with who I am, what I am not, and what I am, and where I want to go. And that it frees you in a way that you probably would never know. And I'm a little bit like the gentleman that was kind of stubborn, and now it's realizing that, like, being humble and being able to listen and know that his way is not the best way, you know, like that it frees you in a way. It really is like freeing, you know. And they say the truth will set you free. That's a phrase that a lot of people say. The truth will set you free, and it's true. So being radically honest about you will certainly set you free. You're no longer gonna have to lie and hide things and hide your true motives about things in any way, you know. It is actually very, people do resonate and relate to that. And it's not for people that you do it. It's so that you open up all of those other doors that you're not opening because they're all shut, closed for you, you know.
Wow. Great, Joe. We cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. My word would be confidence. And it takes courage and confidence to step into any role in a different country than the one you're born in, to learn the language, to get a job, to create a career. That takes a huge amount of courage and confidence to do that. And my hat's off to anybody, you know, to both of you, you know, Darguin and Leonela, for doing what you're doing. Good for you. Mm-hmm.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
My word is embrace. I like what we have talked, and Darwin remind us again. Embrace especially the difficulties. I've been going deep into my challenges and insecurities as a business owner. So I love that word, and I keep embracing who I am and how I want to do it. And I want to thank everybody for this wonderful conversation. And I like to finish with a beautiful picture. And I invite you to follow Darwin in Flow Design so you can flow with his music of art and keep learning from what he's doing. And who knows, when you come to Boston, or some of us are in Boston, in the area, but I have, one of my dreams is to do an immersion in Boston and go to different places and talk to different places. And for sure we will try to go to Darwin because my dad was an architect. So I really connect with everything that he has said. So let's have a picture. Smile, everybody. Thank you
I
again.
think I closed myself. Did
Okay,
you take my picture?
Yeah, I will do it again. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Thank you again. Thank you, Darwin. Have a wonderful evening and weekend, and stay tuned.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Thank you.